Hello, I'm Dr. Jessica Han. Today I'm going to continue with Chapter 15, Autonomic Nervous System. In this module, I'm going to introduce you the anatomy of the autonomic nervous system. At the end of the section, you should be able to identify the anatomic components and the nerve pathways of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic divisions. You should be able to discuss the relationship of the adrenal glands to the sympathetic nervous system, and you should be able to describe the enteric nervous system that controls the digestive tract and explain its significance. The sympathetic division is also called the thoracolumnar division because it arises from the thoracic and the lumbar regions of the spinal cord. The sympathetic division has a short preganglionic nerve fibers and the long postganglionic nerve fibers. Preganglionic neurosomas in the lateral horns and the nearby regions of the spinal cord gray matter. The fibers exist spinal cord by way of spinal nerves from thoracic number 1 vertebrae to lumbar number 2 vertebrae. These fibers lead to nearby sympathetic chain of ganglia, a series of longitudinal ganglia adjacent to both sides of the vertebral column from cervical to coccygeal levels. Sympathetic nerve fibers are distributed to every level of the body. The figure here shows of the body dissection at the thoracic region. As you can see, the nerves came from the thoracic ganglia, which is right here. It extended to sympathetic chain, then it will continue going down to branch out to the lower body sections. This figure shows a better illusion of the sympathetic nerve system and its targeted tissue. This is the cervical region. Here, the blue one is the thoracic region. As you can see, the sympathetic nerves come out mainly from the thoracic region. Then those nerves will control the eye and the nasal activities. It also controls the gland in the mouth. It also controls the heart rate, respiratory organ such as lung, and the digestive organs. The nerves come out from the lumbar region, will control the urinary system and the reproductive system. In the sympathetic division, each paravertebral ganglion is connected to a spinal nerve by two branches communicating rami. These two branches are preganglionic fibers and postganglionic fibers. Preganglionic fibers are small myelinated fibers that travel from spinal nerve to the ganglion by way of the white communicating rames. White communicating rames are axons covered by the myelin sheath. Postganglionic fibers, they leave the ganglion by the way of gray communication rames, which are unmyelinated axons to the targeted tissue. After entering the sympathetic chain, the postganglionic fibers may follow any of the three courses. First, some will end in ganglia, which they enter, and synapse immediately with the postganglionic neuron. Secondly, some will travel up and down the chain and the synapse in ganglia at other level. For example, these fibers could link the paravertebral ganglia into chain, or they can only route by which ganglia at the cervical, sacral, and coccygeal levels receive input. Some pass through the chain without synapsing and continue as splanchnic nerves. The nerve fibers will leave the sympathetic chain through one of these three routes: spinal, sympathetic, splanchnic nerves. First, spinal nerve route. Some postganglionic fiber exit ganglia by way of gray rames. We already talked about gray rames are the axons without the cover of the myelin sheath. Secondly, they can return to the spinal nerve and travel the rest of the way to the targeted organ. such as sweat glands, piloerector muscles, and the blood vessels. The second route the sympathetic division nerve can go is that the nerves leave by way of sympathetic nerves that extend to the heart, lungs, esophagus, and the thoracic blood vessels. These nerves form carotid plexus around each carotid artery of the neck, or they can issue fibers from there to the effectors in the head to control the sweat gland, salivary gland, nasal glands, piloerector muscles, blood vessels, dilators of iris, some fibers of superior and middle cervical ganglia form cardiac nerves to the heart. The third route is the splanchnic nerve route. Some fibers can arise from spinal nerves from thoracic number 5 to thoracic number 12 vertebrae, pass through the sympathetic ganglia without synapsing. Under this route, the nerve fibers can continue through the sympathetic ganglia. They don't have to form a synapse, and they can continue only as splanchnic nerves. Secondly, they can be taken to the second set of ganglia, collateral ganglia, and the synapse there. Here's the figure to summarize these three routes. Here's the spinal cord preganglionic fiber, synapse with the second neuron at the ganglion. Then the postganglionic fibers exit through gray ramus of the spinal cord and travel through spinal nerve to the targeted tissue. As you can see, this is a spinal nerve, so the postganglionic signal is going through to the targeted tissue, such as muscle glands, piloerector muscles. Secondly, the preganglionic fibers will deliver the signals, then they form a synapse at another ganglion. The postganglionic fiber will exit through sympathetic nerves that extend to other organs. They can go up to control the celiac region, or they can go down to this way to control the digestive organs. Splanchnic, which is the third one, the postganglionic nerve, which is shown in red, will travel through sympathetic ganglion without synapsing. These nerve fibers will continue to splanchnic nerve, travel to second ganglia, which is collateral ganglion, and the synapse there. These nerve fibers will control liver, spleen, adrenal glands, stomach, intestine, kidney, urinary bladder, and reproductive organs. What is the collateral ganglia in the third route we mentioned above? Those ganglia contribute to a network called the abdominal aortic plexus, which wraps around abdominal aorta. There are three major collateral ganglia in this plexus: celiac, superior mesenteric, and inferior mesenteric. The postganglionic fibers accompany arteries of the same names and their branches to their target organs. Celiac and superior mesenteric ganglia are also called solar plexus. And this figure shows you where are those collateral ganglia are located. Here's the celiac ganglia. Those are the nerves. Plexus are located. Here's the superior mesenteric ganglia, which is located here. And here's the inferior mesenteric ganglia. As you can see, all these ganglia covers the abdominal aortic arteries to regulate the blood flow, to regulate the organs of digestive, urinary, and going down, they also regulate the reproductive organs. In the sympathetic division, the neuronal divergence is predominating this division. Each preganglionic cell branches, they synapse with 10 to 20 postganglionic cells. One preganglionic neuron can excite multiple postganglionic fibers leading to different target organs. They have a very widespread effects across the body. This sympathetic division controls the adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is located on the superior post of the kidney. Each is two glands with different functions. Within the adrenal gland, it has two parts. One part is called the cortex. Cortex is the outer layer of the adrenal gland. From the cortex, the hormones are being secreted to regulate the urinary system functions. In the inner core of the gland is called the medulla. The medulla section consists of sympathetic ganglion and modified neurons that regulates the function of sympathetic division. In the adrenal gland, it secretes the hormones of catecholamines. 85% of them are epinephrine and 15% are non-epinephrine. Then here's a figure shows you where the adrenal gland is located, and here shows you the medullary part, then here's the cortex part. In comparison to sympathetic division, the parasympathetic division is relatively simple. Parasympathetic division is called craniosacral division. Those nerves are arise from the brain and the sacral regions of the spinal cord. Their fibers travel in certain cranial and sacral nerves. They are originated from midbrain, pons, and the medulla. Their preganglionic nerves are long and the postganglionic fibers are short. The parasympathetic division is relatively selective in stimulation of target organs. There's only a little neural divergency. It's much less than the sympathetic division. The nerves controlled by parasympathetic division are listed here. Oculomotor nerve that controls the eye movement. Facial nerve controls the facial expression, especially tear, nasal, salivary glands. Glossopharyngeal nerve controls the salivary gland. Vagus nerve controls the visceral organs such as colon. It also controls the cardiac, pulmonary, and esophageal plexus. This picture clearly shows where the parasympathetic nerve system are and what organs they control. Here they come from the cranial nerve, such as oculomotor nerve that controls the eye movement. Here is the glossopharyngeal nerves, controls the gland. And here's another cranial nerve, which is called the vagus nerve, controls the organs. The vagus nerve will branch out, then controls the cardiac, pulmonary, digestive system. Nerves come out from sacral section of the spinal cord, will control the reproductive organs. On the digestive tract, there's a nerve system that is independent from brain or spinal cord. This is called enteric nerve system. This nerve system innervates smooth muscle and glands. They compose 100 million neurons found in the walls of digestive tract. It has its own reflex arcs. It regulates motility of esophagus, stomach, and the intestines, and the secretion of digestive enzymes and acid. Therefore, the digestive system requires the regulation by sympathetic, parasympathetic, and enteric nerve system. So three nerve systems are regulating our digestive system. Hershey's-Crohn disease is the defect of enteric nerve system. In this type of disease, the patients are missing some ganglionic nerve cells, so there is no innervation in the sigmoid, colon, and rectum. The patients will have problem to move the stool out of their rectum, therefore the constipation is often formed. In summary, we have compared the anatomy of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerve system. In the sympathetic nerve system, the nerves come out primarily from the thoracic and the lumbar region of the spinal cord. The thoracic nerves, they are going to form different ganglionic plexus. Then there are three routes transfer the nerve signals through the postganglionic nerve fibers. Those three routes are summarized in this slide. They can first go through the spinal nerve. The second, they are going to exit through sympathetic nerves that extend to other organs. The third, they are going to directly travel through the sympathetic ganglion without a synapse. The second one, they are going to form a synapse, but the third one, they do not need a synapse. Then they are going to continue this signal to the collateral ganglion, then synapse there. The collateral ganglions are located on the abdominal aortas. There are three major collateral ganglia. One is the celiac, the other one is the superior, and the third one is the inferior mesenteric ganglion. The celiac and the superior mesenteric ganglion are also called the solar plexus. Those ganglia will control the activities of different viscera. In comparison, the sacral nerve and the cranial nerves are controlling the parasympathetic nervous system. So the nerves come out from those two sections will control the eye, facial movements, as well as the heart, respiratory system, digestive system. The sacral nerve will control the reproductive organs. There are not too many nerve divergency here, and there is no collateral ganglion formed to control the targeted organs. In addition to the description of parasympathetic and the sympathetic nerve systems, we also mentioned adrenal gland. Adrenal gland is an important gland located on the superior part. It not only secretes hormones but also contains neurons to deliver the nerve signals. At the end of this section, we introduce the enteric nerve system, which is additional system work together with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system to control the digestive tract.